Hey, welcome back to Picks for Sticks. It's been about a week since we've done a show, but that's because we've been incredibly busy trying to figure out what's going on with Major League Baseball. Brian Dale is here to talk about some games and some lines. And I, of course, am Michael Driggs, your host and chief provocateur of all things essential to baseball and handicapping. So thank you for joining us. And one of the things I've been thinking about is when we think about health, and we do a COVID corner with Dr. Doug, and we really try to focus on health here. So often we think about health as it relates to the athletes, but we have to keep our own health in mind. And one thing I've really worked on since I turned 50 years old is adjusting my own health. And this really gets me. There's this trend called intermittent fasting. This is currently one of the world's most popular health and fitness trends. People are using it to lose weight, improve their health, and simplify their lifestyles. And studies have shown that it can be a powerful way to affect your body and brain in unique ways, because when you eat less, you take in less bad things, because we don't always make good decisions about what we're eating. But my problem is not so much with intermittent fasting. It's the wrong way to think about it. I think we need to change the way we're thinking about intermittent fasting. We need to be doing intermittent eating. Now, hear me out on this. The bottom line is, when you're eating, even if it's healthy and foods that are generally good for you, you're spiking your insulin, you're raising your insulin. When you're in a fasted state, science has shown us, look at all this extra health tips you're getting, by tuning in today. You are, if you're fasting long enough, getting all sorts of autophagy. Your cells are engaging in healthy things, and then you eat again and you kick yourself right out of that good, healthy situation that your body has put yourself in. So I think if we think about it as intermittent eating, you will be much more successful at it. And I will keep you posted on my progress and development, because the whole trick to a healthy lifestyle is really to never eat again. That would be ideal. You just become so one with peaceful nature and spiritualism that you can live off the air. And there are people who do this. They're called the breatharians. They are able to get enough nutrients just from the air where they never eat again, and they die in about a week. But that's not the point I'm trying to make, because we're not becoming breatharians, we're intermittent eaters. So if you eat intermittently, you're going to be in a fasted state longer, which makes you more at nature, and this will help your baseball handicapping. And on that note, I want to bring in Mr. Dale before I take us down another path on Cheetos. But I don't want to go, we will talk about Cheetos on a different episode. But in this episode, I welcome Mr. Dale, Brian Dale. I think I've taken us down a path in this show about healthy eating and fasting. And if we still have any viewers who are watching us, what a week it's been, huh? It was the first full week of the baseball season, the first full week. And you and I were in pretty constant contact in that week. And it started off as a grind, bad breaks, bad luck. And, I was like, thank God we aren't sending out any picks, or else we'd, we were never down. We were always we couldn't get over the hump. But by the end of the week, we were able to turn things around to both show a profit in our own capping. And certainly by the end of the week, we're feeling good about where we are, breaking down in analyzing things. So how was your week personally? That was my experience with it.
Well, we've had almost 2 weeks worth of games so far, and I've been fortunate, and I'm going to highlight that fortunate, to be positive both weeks, and it's been a grind. A lot of the parlays, the round robins, so close on so many of them. Finally, we broke through on one yesterday, and yeah, hoping to keep the momentum going this week.
Yeah,
Starting to
yeah, a little bit loose in the plays, maybe a little too much action. Just getting back in the swings. There haven't been too many misreads.
Well, I had a couple. That I think that was my number one problem the first week
Yeah,
was trying to hit like 6 or 7 games on the board, which over a season you're just going to get nailed doing that.
right, right.
Because you're excited for the new year. So hopefully I can be a little bit more selective this week.
Chill out a little bit. Well, in many ways, I had one of the best weeks of my life, even though I'm only up 6 units on the week. That's pretty good. But, I took my car into the dealership because there was a recall issue on my Honda Sport. And the plan was drop it off. It'd be a 30-minute fix. But when I got there, the guy said they're looking at like 2.5 hours. I didn't make an appointment, so that's fine. I got back home. By the time I got home, I had a text from the dealership, and this is what they texted me. Hi, Michael. My name is Drew. I'm the VIP manager at Norm Reeves Honda. And I'm reaching out to you because we have a need for cars just like yours. And I'm like, really? My car? And on paper, it looks like a great fit for us. As compensation to you, if we can give you a newer Honda, we'll keep your payments right about the same. And I want to know what we can do to have your vehicle back today. No, I bought it from them.
Yeah. Special customer. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, oh my God, they want my car. How cool is that? Like, usually my experiences with cars are like, this Honda Sport's the nicest car I've ever had. But my feelings with cars all stem from the insecurity I got one day when I was much younger and I drove up to park at the Mondrian, the valet at the Mondrian, because I had this hot date, and we pull up, and it's my Honda. It was a Honda. It was a much older Honda, and the valet said, "I'm sorry, sir, we won't accept your car. You have to park it." It was humiliating. So here, years later, they're asking to have my car back. They want my car. I felt so honored, and I don't know anything about cars. And I just read an article in the Wall Street Journal that discussed how the chip shortage is making inventory very scarce. And so I'm thinking, oh, this is a perfect storm. I am so stoked. I got the car. They want the car. They don't have any inventory. They're going to make me a deal. I'm going to be flush here. So I got there, talked to the guy, and this is what they were offering. This was the offer. For $20 more a month, they would put me into a 2021. My car's a 2019. They put me in a 2021 brand new car. They get my car, and I'm on a 3-year own. And so it's 36 payments. So I'd have 36 new payments, $20 higher, and I'm in the new 2021 upgraded.
What a deal.
It felt like a deal, right? It felt great. But here is the bottom line. There were games to handicap. I was already running late, behind schedule, and I'm like, I'm really not a car guy. Brand new car, handicap the games. I had to get home to handicap the games. So I just said to them, I don't have time. Sounds good. I departed. I went home, and I think I took your advice. I looked up Kelley Blue Book, what the value of the trade-in was to trade in my car based on the mileage and all the other accoutrements. And it said my car is worth $23,000 to $24,000. I only owe $11,000 on it over the next I think it's 20 payments or whatever. And so I did the math, Brian. I did the math, and what the math would have been was them taking my car, charging me $20 more a month. So I'm in a newer car, but the gap was about $14,000 if I had accepted their offer, that I would have been down about 14,000 because of the 36 more payments on it. And I just was like, you know what? I'm not up 5 units this week. I'm up $14,000 in 5 units.
That's awesome.
And I still got my car.
Here's the better question. What was the recall for?
The recall.
Were they just reeling you in?
Right? Was it a whole scheme? Well, the recall came.
Did you do with the cup holder or something?
Pretty much, exactly, right? It was something that's so irrelevant, I can't even recall what it was. It was some sort of, apparently, occasionally the car from a dead stop at a red light would, while you're sitting with your foot on the brake, suddenly accelerate to 60 miles an hour and blow up. And so it was something, I don't know what it was. I don't know what the recall was. Something to do with the tire pressure gauge or something.
Cool.
So yeah, you're right. The whole thing was a full scam. But I'm telling you, I could have been in a 21, brand new for $20 more a month.
Most people don't look at the math. They just say $20 more a month and I get a brand new car again? Where do I sign?
Right. And it would have been 2.5 more years of payments at the same rate. And they'd have had a car with $14,000 of wiggle room.
You need that for money to wager every week.
I know, right? So it was a hell of a week for me. But it's a new week, new games, new series. How about these were the notes I took yesterday night. Boston Red Sox are in first place, my friend.
I don't know how. Let's see how long that lasts.
We're at 6-3, and they're hitting the cover off the ball. What a shitty job by Shoemaker. 6-run lead. You know, we had the Twins team total, so that was good. But 6-run lead in the 6th, this guy blows it.
Yep.
How about the Oakland A's? A Sunday off. I just take a Sunday off.
Weird scheduling. Friday had weird scheduling too, with all those day games.
Right.
On a Friday.
Right. You had to handicap Friday as if it was a Wednesday weekday, Thursday weekday game.
Tuesday getaway day kind of stuff.
Right. Luke Weaver, 2 hits Cincinnati.
I didn't see that one coming. You know I lost that game.
Reds stayed off of that one.
Reds are kind of coming down now.
They seem out of gas. They seem out of gas as they head into San Francisco, who is a team playing well, but are they playing well, or is that just deceiving because they got Colorado on the road? So they got Colorado where they're at home. And now, is this a situation where Cincinnati, they travel overnight, they rest? You know, the coach says, you motherfuckers, what the hell was that the last 2 games in Arizona? Let's get it together. They go behind the better pitcher today, Miley. Is San Francisco just what Cincinnati needs? Or is this, no, Cincinnati's out of gas. They're in the middle of a road trip, and San Francisco now gets Cincinnati in a spot that's really good for them.
It's a tough one to evaluate because prior to those 2 games, they had this 6-game win streak, and gosh, they were just going nuts, hitting the cover off the ball. But I watched some of those last 2 games against the Diamondbacks, and they look like they've come back down to earth. And then they have to, I mean, I know that's not a long flight going from Arizona to San Francisco, but they got to deal with that pitcher's ballpark now. Doesn't seem like the type of place where you're hitting all of a sudden gets back. I know it's only 2 games, but I'm not sure what to do with that game. I might stay away there.
Well, you bring up an interesting point about travel. You really do. And I think one of the things I do best in my handicapping is handicapping travel.
Mm,
I don't, I don't, I don't distinguish between a short trip and a long trip. In fact, a long trip might even be better sometimes because these athletes are in very comfortable planes, very comfortable seats. They might even get some rest on the plane if it's a smooth flight, compared to a short flight where um, they suffer all the stress of the flight. You're on, it's an hour flight, it's in the, they're in and out of they're into the hotel. All that stuff is the same, whether it's a long or short flight, without maybe the length of time to just relax on the flight. And managers may not have as much time to do some of the coaching and evaluating that they tend to do on the flights. So on the longer flights, they may get a nicer meal, they may have that built in, and now they're eating. And so in some cases, the short travel could be worse. And I don't have the information about, well, how was the flight, and who were the flight attendants relaying? This guy was icing his leg the whole time. Well, we don't have that information. It's hard to come by. But
fair. Yeah, that's fair.
when a team is down and struggling, and they have a travel day, a travel night, they don't have the day off. I always want to know, did they send Miley out to San Francisco a day early? Did he get to just kind of chill? But that's still not the whole team. Their bats are cold. They've run out of gas. And now they're going against Aaron Sanchez, who in his season debut against the Padres was good. He was really good. So,
Right, I saw that. The
so
first thing that stood out to me in this one, I think I'm going to stay away, but because of all those factors you just talked about, is that under 8.5? Is that a decent play? I don't know. I think this is the game I'm going to stay away from.
it's a good game to watch and get a sense, because this could really be determinative to how the series is gonna go.
Absolutely.
Um, it really could, and I'm so glad we're drawn to this game because it's a night game, right?
Mhm.
This is the televised national game, and so you got to factor that in as well.
Right.
Are these teams going to be a little more pumped up for that situation of nationally televised game? But um, how big a factor does that play in? I certainly want to break it down. I do want to be on this game. I think this is a code that can be cracked. I think I'm going to spend a little bit more time digging in, but I think we've set it up well that there will be um, a position, that a trigger that can be pulled on this one.
Right.
I think so. Um, so if you're watching this before the games tonight, send us your information to picksforsticks@gmail.com. And if we get some plays out there, you'll get that. That's PICKS, the number 4, sticks, STICKS, picks
I do,
for
I
sticks.
do have one play I'm going to make. This is for entertainment purposes for y'all. I'm not sure
Oh,
if you follow me, but the minimal amount of research I've done thus far today is I'm drawn to this Astros Tigers game. Okay. You got Greinke going for Houston, and you got the number 1 pick in 2018, Mize, going for Detroit, right?
mhm,
Regular line on this game, it's Houston's a huge favorite. They're minus 220.
yeah.
But if you look at the run line comes all the way down to minus 120.
Wow.
That's a pretty big gap. So what that tells me is handicappers see the Astros winning a 1-run game. Okay.
Hmm.
I think Mize is terrific prospect, terrific prospect, but he hasn't really faced a lineup yet like the Astros. What's the max he's going to go anyway? 4 or 5 innings. I really see the Astros getting to him, and I'm gonna go with that Houston run line on this particular game.
I love it. I haven't looked at this one yet. And so as you're breaking it down, this is the first I'm processing this game today. We had a long day, and so much teaching. It's so interesting, Brian, that all the non-education uh, world is
Right.
saying that there's been so much learning loss this year, so much learning loss,
Uh-huh.
maybe 15% learning loss. And I'm thinking about all the parents who were sitting with their children while their children were learning. And I'm thinking maybe the students are 15%, but parent learning is up 45% this year.
I actually think that's true. That's more
Right?
than a joke. Yeah.
Right? Now parents can do some basic arithmetic. Now parents can sit with a little attention span. Now maybe they can do some critical thinking. Parent learning is up. So I don't know how you balance all that.
Yeah.
I don't know. But
You want to look at one more, or are you done?
what's that?
Did you want to look at one more game, or are you
Yeah,
done?
one more game I've started to break down is this Seattle-Baltimore game.
Whoa. Okay. Power matchup.
Yeah. To me, this is the game of the day. It's the
Sheffield. Okay.
Yeah, it's the most interesting game of the day. You've got Seattle, whose bats have come to life. They won 2 out of 3 in Minnesota against a team that's whole a whole level better than them. They were behind 6-0. They're playing with some heart. They're playing loose. They're playing wild. They don't really know how bad they are. That'll catch up to them. And they've won like 4 of their last 5. And so their road trip, their flight last night would have been fun, from Minnesota to Baltimore. So there's a little time to rest on that flight and a little time to spruce things up a little bit, to have a good time. They come into Baltimore. Baltimore's at home. They just were swept by Boston. The wheels came off in all these games, and they're spiraling downward. And they go with Kremer today, who's 0-1 with a 9 ERA and just got shelled. And so the more I look at this, and the more you think that in baseball, the statistics play out over the year. When teams are flying high, they regress to their mean. And when teams are low, they progress to their mean. And when I look at this game, I need to look at it more. I'm not giving this out as a pick. It just seems to me that this is a perfect spot for the Orioles. Yeah,
I'm going the other way.
yeah, Seattle, they're gonna really win 5 out of 6. They're gonna travel after beating Minnesota and play this consistently well. I don't think so. I don't see it. I think a team like Baltimore, they're gonna get their wins. They're gonna win 60 plus games. Where do their wins come from? They come against a team like Seattle coming in day one. Seattle's flying high, and I'm even thinking maybe Baltimore run line. I think Kremer is going to pitch better. Suddenly, Seattle's bats aren't so hot, but I have to dig into Baltimore a little bit more before that can be an official play. It's just a lean. I'm just kind of breaking it down right now. The game goes at 4 o'clock. I got an hour to look into it.
I don't see myself doing this game, but I would actually go the other way, and it's a complete opposite of what I just talked about in that Detroit Houston game with Mize going up against a real tough lineup. You got Sheffield. He's a heck of a prospect too.
Yeah.
He is a heck of a prospect. He's not there yet, but he's coming. And when a guy like that faces a lineup like the Orioles, that could be just what he needs. So I don't think I'll do this game, but if you forced me to, I would take Seattle in this one.
Yeah, that makes me like Baltimore a little bit more.
It should.
Yeah. Again, how deep is he going to go into the game? I think once you get into the pens, Baltimore is situated a little better today. for that pen work. Kremer's going to pitch better. But how do you back Baltimore right now? How do you do that? It's a wild play, but this is what makes this game great. So those are the games we're keying on. Those are what we're looking at. I think we should get to work and get this out there so people can see how we're thinking today.
Good. Sounds good to me. Let's get some
Maybe,
winners.
maybe we'll do a doubleheader nightcap tonight.
True. I got to dig into this Texas Tampa Bay game too. Glass now. Ooh, how is Texas going to score any runs off this guy? That's another thing to look at.
How is Texas ever going to score any runs again is a reasonable question. But
going against this guy, ooh, he's arguably the best looking pitcher in all of baseball so far.
I would not disagree with that. However, I would point out what?
I said it's early. It
is early, but I certainly would not be discounting Dunning for the Rangers, who looks good, but he's more likely to come back to earth.
Totals at 7.5. Also, that's a low total.
7.5. And it's been going down 7.5, 7.5. So the over is where the value is in this game. If one wants to presume Texas is going to be able to get any hits, but I wouldn't play that.
I wouldn't go there.
I don't think so, but I'm going to consider it.
You let me know. You're the hot one right now.
Yeah. I'd like to keep it that way. All right, my friend. Let's talk later, and make sure you subscribe to our channel, everybody. We're trying to get up to 25 subscribers, but we're an exclusive club.
By the end of the season, who knows?
Exactly. Right on, Brian. Thank you, everybody. Much love.